Dow was up 222 points to close at 42,801. The Nasdaq gained 127 points to 18,196. The S&P 500 added 31 points to 5770. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm John Scott.
News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We are cooling down tonight to a low of 50 degrees. Tomorrow, it's wonderful. Sunshine, a high temperature reaching 78. Tomorrow night, we will spring forward, so you turn the clocks ahead 1 hour. On Sunday, not so nice. A 50% chance of showers, especially early. Much cooler with a high of just 58. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
This is The Point.
Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Welcome into Friday. Welcome into the weekend. Hope you got some great plans in store related to the world of sports over the weekend, or maybe you're going to get away from the world of sports for just a little bit, kind of exhale, enjoy the weekend here in South Carolina. We are still down at the beach. Of course, we were down here last night at the Classic over in Georgetown. We've made our way over to our coastal studios here along the coast. That's why we call it the Coastal Studios. We got a lot going on tonight. South Carolina women won their first game at the SEC tournament today against Vanderbilt. Matt Smith in Greenville. He'll be joining us in just a moment. We'll be hearing from Dawn Staley and the Gamecocks as well as they move on to play Oklahoma. Oklahoma, the surprise winner over Kentucky in the other game this afternoon. So South Carolina and Oklahoma tomorrow in the semifinals. Also, we got baseball going on. Clemson is playing. South Carolina will be getting underway tonight. Other teams around the state on the diamond. We'll be catching up on all those scores as we move along tonight. Rudy Jones, longtime sports writer with the Greenville News, one of the best in the business, with a particular passion for baseball in our state. Since leaving the Greenville News a few years ago, he has started up his own baseball website, his own baseball newsletter, and so he follows the college baseball scene in South Carolina as close as anybody. And we're not just talking about South Carolina, Clemson, and Coastal, and Wofford, the bigger schools. He covers every school in the state in college baseball. So he is going to be joining us tonight. This will be a weekly visit. We're going to call it Touch 'Em All with Rudy Jones. And he'll be with us 6:35 to talk baseball on a Friday night heading into the baseball weekend. We're going to hear from USC's new transfer cornerback who has come over from North Carolina State. Had a chance to interview him earlier in the week, Brandon Cisse. Also, Jeff Owens on NASCAR. George Bryan, birdies, bogeys, and biceps tonight with our special guest, former South Carolina golf coach Bill McDonald, who has stayed very busy in the golf world since leaving USC a little over a year ago. He's got a son who's a collegiate player, so he's following him, and he's doing other things in the golf world. So we will catch up with him, see how things are going, and get his thoughts on things related to the golf scene here in South Carolina. Plus, we've got state championship games being played at the Florence Center, and we have two more state champions crowned this afternoon. In the boys, this would be 4A boys Lancaster wins the state championship, first time in its history. Bruins defeat North Augusta 69-55. Not all the news is bad for the town of North Augusta. However, on the girls' side, North Augusta beat Westside for the state championship 50-37. So North Augusta 50, Westside 37, and Lancaster 69, North Augusta 55. Two more games coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. In fact, they're just getting underway. 5A Division I, it's Blythewood and Somerville. Last game tonight will be 5A Division I boys, and that's Blythewood against Ridgeview. Funny how two schools, Blythewood and Ridgeview, I imagine as the crow flies, they're about, 10 miles apart, and they've kind of got to come all the way. You take that game, of course you can't expect these things, like you can't pre-plan, but you take that game and maybe you play it in the Colonial Life Arena, you might have 15,000, 20,000 people. Though I don't know if it's, back in the day when Eau Claire and Lower Richland, they could sell out any arena when they played one another. I'm not so sure that this particular basketball rivalry meets that. But still, two local schools playing in Florence tonight for the championship. More championship games tomorrow. Okay, we got, of course, basketball tomorrow. Clemson looking to close out an unbelievable ACC. Who would have ever thought Clemson would win 18 ACC games in a season, ever, in basketball? They can do that tomorrow at home by beating Virginia Tech. They should. Virginia Tech's having a down year. Clemson's playing at home. 18 wins, and then go to the ACC tournament in Charlotte next week. Add a couple of more. I mean, if the Tigers aren't among the top 16 seeds, that would just show the utmost in disrespect for the ACC by the committee. How can you have 18, 19, 20 ACC wins and not be among the top 16 seeds? But they got a little bit of work to do. We'll see if they get it done. South Carolina finishes the regular season in Knoxville tomorrow afternoon, and Gamecocks are just looking to finish off a lousy season. They'll go to Nashville to play on Wednesday in the first game of the tournament. We'll be there in Nashville. You might be saying, why in the world are you going to go there? We're going to go there because it's there, and that's what we do on Sports Talk. I don't care if you got one win or you got 25. I'll be in Nashville, and Smitty will be in Charlotte with Clemson. Speaking of Smitty, he is a man on the move. That's usually Mike Morgan, but Matt Smith is the man on the move. He was at the Citadel the other night. Now he's up in Greenville this afternoon. Smitty, South Carolina women, they took care of their business. Got a little dicey there for a few minutes, but by and large, they had this game in control. They pulled away on a 16-0 run to close it out, and they win it over Vanderbilt 84-63. Welcome in, Smitty.
Well, hey, Corn, and yeah, I really think this is a circumstance where the final score is not indicative of what I saw. Now, I really believed in the first half, late in the first half, the game was over. It was one of those circumstances where you could shut the TV off and go back to what you were doing. I could start writing a headline, but it wasn't to be. Vanderbilt really made a run, outscoring the Gamecocks 25-13 in the third quarter. At one point, from the beginning of the third quarter until midway through the fourth, Vanderbilt outscored the Gamecocks. Think about this. The number 5 team in the country, the defending champions, the mighty Gamecocks, were outscored 40-20 over about a 15-minute period. That's how good Vanderbilt was playing, and you have to give them a lot of credit. But you also have to always give credit to South Carolina, the adjustments that Dawn Staley makes, and the depth of this club. I mean, I know Kentucky's coach said it recently. You know, when you think you've got them, then all of a sudden they bring 4 more McDonald's All-Americans in, and that was the circumstance here. Dawn Staley said in her post-game comments, I just needed to find the right combination. And today, truly, the combination always included Chloe Kitts, 25 points on 12 of 14 shooting. She was so good. She had an advantage down low, and she exploited it. And Malaysia for Wiley was a highlight reel today. 14 points, but Corn, I can remember all 14. They were breathtaking today. She was so good. Chloe Kitts was so good. South Carolina's terrific. And you give Vanderbilt a lot of credit for hanging with them. But this Gamecocks team, it's simply the fact that they don't just have 2 good players, 3 good players. They have 7, 8, 9 great players, and depth was the difference today.
Yeah, that's what they recruit for, and that is this is the moment they live for with all those terrific players, and they needed everyone to step up at one time or another. But you mentioned what Chloe Kitts did. She has really been on a heater of late, playing the best basketball of her career at South Carolina. And then the stunning second game where Oklahoma goes in and knocks off Kentucky. So you take nothing for granted, but as you pointed out to me this afternoon, we were talking, when the Gamecocks played Oklahoma in regular season, it was a 50-point game. Now, this is a new day, a new location, and a new deal, but still, I think you pretty much expect the Gamecocks to walk over the Sooners.
Yeah, I think it's an issue for Oklahoma because, in basketball, it's matchups. And if you give Dawn Staley as many chess pieces as she has, Oklahoma's going to have a really tough time matching up with South Carolina tomorrow. And as you said, new day, and Oklahoma probably feeling itself after knocking off Kentucky. They played a brilliant second half. They were well coached. They did everything right. But I don't see how they knock off South Carolina tomorrow. But women's basketball is getting a lot closer to men's basketball in terms of we're seeing more upsets. We've seen a few in the Big Ten. We're even seeing them in the SEC a little bit. I'll have to be convinced that Oklahoma can knock off South Carolina with all of the advantages the Gamecocks have, especially with this. I think Chloe Kitts, I don't think it's a coincidence that she's posted 3 consecutive double-doubles. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact not just that Dawn Staley is calling her number in the huddle. I think she's figured out what she can do at this level of competition. She's played so brilliantly, and it's not just the numbers. If you watch the game, it's a lot closer to what you saw South Carolina do with Camila Cardoso and Aaliyah Boston 2 years ago, which is it's how they settle the game. When the game is getting tight, 6 minutes, 4 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go, they make sure Kitts gets a touch because she settles the offense. Bull Wiley is the most exciting player, but Kitts may be the most important in terms of getting her a touch because she's smart enough to be a playmaker when she needs to be. She doesn't need the numbers. She'll pitch it out when she's double-teamed. So that's something to watch for against Oklahoma. I'm almost certain they're going to double-team Kitts and Edwards down low, then see what they do when they get the ball. I don't think they'll be selfish, and I just don't think Oklahoma has enough players to cover, Raven Johnson and Malaysia Fulwiley and the others on the perimeter.
What about the crowd? The excitement level for the USC game today was it about what you expected it to be?
No, Phil, it's impressive. And Dawn Staley said in her post-game comments something I think is really important. She said, we don't give these tickets away. The reason that the tournament is coming back to Greenville and the reason it's such a great atmosphere is it's supported. That, Tennessee comes down and supports, and some of the other good programs come down and support, and then, of course, South Carolina fans travel from all over the state to support this. And as Dawn Staley said, they pay. These tickets aren't given away. It was an awesome atmosphere, and it's only going to get better throughout the weekend. Of course, I'll be here and covering it for SportsTalkSC.com, but, Corn, you've seen this. Women's basketball has taken off in the last, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and South Carolina's been the gold standard for that, right at spearheading it, and it was an awesome atmosphere today. It was as loud as what you you feel at Colonial Life Arena or at Little John when Malaysia Fulwiley made a behind-the-back pass to Sanaya Fagan with 2 minutes left to get the Gamecocks back up double digits. That's as loud as an arena as you've ever been in, and that's what women's basketball is now in our state.
All right, Smitty, you get some rest. You got a full weekend there in Greenville. Great place to be, Lucky Dog. And we're going to hear from Don Staley coming up after the break. Thank you, Smitty. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you over the weekend.
All right. Be sure to follow everything, SportsTalkSC.com, baseball and basketball all weekend long on the website.
I never take my eyes off of it. And Smitty's the best writer that we have. Thank you, Smitty. All right, Don Staley coming up. A couple of other quick notes. Adam Guthrie, big offensive tackle, committed to Clemson today. More on that in recruiting coming up. And Clemson baseball. Clemson playing Davidson. It's a 5-4 Clemson lead up at Doug Kingsmore. Don Staley coming up.
I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus. Whether it's becoming a teacher, dentist, or engineer, every child deserves the chance to chase their dreams. Investing in a child's education with Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 College Savings Plan, can help turn those big dreams into next steps. So don't wait. You can start with any amount. Contributions are tax deductible and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college at futurescholar.com.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
Stay tuned. More Sports Talk is coming up on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Are credit card rates weighing you down? Founders Federal Credit Union is here to help, offering rates below the national average. Our Essential MasterCard is as low as 13.25% APR, and our rewards cards start at just 15.25% APR. Pair that with zero annual fees and zero balance transfer fees. Apply today and keep more of your money in your pocket. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc to learn more or apply for a new credit card today. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. That's the sound of a big hit on you and your car or truck. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years, helping people who get injured in car wrecks and truck wrecks. If you have serious injuries, call Jim Corbett, 803-765-2968, or email me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. That's CORBETT. I don't get paid unless I recover for you. Jim Corbett Attorney, for your best recovery from a big hit, 803-765-2968, or jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Big Friday night here on Sports Talk. So glad you're with us wherever you're dialed in around the state. Stay with us if you can, if you like. If you lose us over the air for whatever reason, you can always find us on our multiple streams on YouTube, on Facebook, on the Chief Sports app, on our own website, on our X. Be sure to follow us on X. Our relatively new X is SC Sports Now. That's the new X address, SC Sports Now. And this is a busy Friday night, so we spend a lot of time updating a lot of things, a lot of scores. So let's go to Don Staley and hear what the USC women's head coach had to say. We just heard from Smitty giving us the details of the win over Vanderbilt. What did the coach think? Questions from the media and her answers.
Coach, there was some visible frustration from your part in the third quarter. It seemed like Vanderbilt was just able to disrupt what you guys were doing so well in the second quarter. What was your frustration, or what were you most frustrated with in the third quarter? A lot of conversation with the officials as well.
It was on us. We did not make good decisions out there, and a lot had to do with what Vandy was doing to us. They doubled us. They pressured us. And they forced us into some turnovers that created some easy baskets for them, that created momentum for them to cut into our lead. Just bad basketball. I mean, we mentioned it at halftime, like we're playing really good basketball. I said really good basketball is contagious, and really bad basketball is contagious. And we got a chance to see the face of both of them. Part of that was because of what Vandy was pressuring us to do. Part of that was just decision making, playing a little bit faster, which probably Vandy had a lot to do with that. So I was happy that we could get a unit in there that could just play well together on both sides of the basketball. And it took us a little bit of time to figure out what unit that would be.
Right here, Elena.
The timeout at the end of the fourth quarter, then you guys went on the 16-0 run. Just what was the conversation like with your team in order to close out that game?
I don't even remember what I said. It was about making plays at that point. It was about shoring up how we wanted to defend the ball screens. It was making sure that we were running sets that get the hot hand the ball, which was Chloe. And then we allow Lay to get the ball on the open floor and pretty much play make. And fortunately for us, it worked out.
In the front.
Chloe really became that go-to player for you guys, even in the third quarter. I think led you with 6 points. Just what did you think of her performance today, before the press conference, and how important was that for you guys?
This is really who Chloe is. Starting to play very consistent basketball. She wants the ball in her hands. She wants to be a playmaker. She wants to be the one that can score it or dish it to a teammate. I thought her teammates did a really good job at finding her. I thought she did a great job at just making a play. We called her number, and she delivered for us. I would imagine that this is kind of how she envisioned her entire season going, but it didn't go that way. It was a little bit up and down and inconsistent, but Chloe's strong enough mentally, physically, to be able to handle, the rigors of this league. No one's going to just kill it every single night. But if you don't have the mental fortitude to stay with it through the ups and the downs, you won't see consistent play like this at any point in the season.
Front left.
Don, as I was asking Malaysia, there's a lot of girls on your bench that could start other places. I'm curious, in the recruiting process, like what type of a person do you have to get to kind of fit into that team mentality? And then part B of the question is, when you have that much talent, is it hard to find the right five on the floor some nights?
We're pretty honest throughout the recruiting process. We don't tell anybody they're going to automatically start, because we don't know what that looks like when they make the transition from high school to college. And we choose people that want us. Like, there's something about us that they like, and that is the very thing that continues to drive them while they're with us. Like, it's always, if you're having a bad day, why did you decide to come here? And then it helps you get over your bad day a little bit easier, right? And we're just completely honest, and we are look, sound, feel. Something looks, sounds, or feel off, we're going to address it. If it looks, sounds, or feel great, we're going to promote it. And I do believe we know what to say to our players that will allow them to grow. Yes, they may be angry in 1 minute, but we get down to why. Like, why are you angry? And then we talk about that. We break it down. We do it time and time again, so they'll understand that we're invested in them as whole people. Not just the basketball part of it. That's the easy part. That's really the easy part of it. But yes, it's hard to find a unit. It really is. Who can finish it? Like, we just played Kentucky on Sunday, and it was Powell, Lay, Tessa, Chloe, and Fagan that finished the game. They played the entire fourth quarter. And we sat out on senior night, Breezy Hall. Does she feel a certain type of way? Yeah, she's a competitor. It's her senior night, last regular season game. But you talk to her, you just say, hey, 90% of the time you've been in the game. That's been you, the unit. They understand when we have a unit out there that's playing well, we're gonna continue to play it until the cows come home, and it's just communication. Like if I don't say anything to Breezy, she might hold on to that for the rest of her life.
Interesting stuff from Dawn Staley. Little philosophy there. And you can hear from that part of the reason why she's such a successful coach and why top players want to come play for her. She keeps it rolling today with the win over Vanderbilt. Clemson up 5-4, bottom of the seventh on Davidson. We're going to touch them all with Rudy Jones after the break.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We are cooling down tonight to a low of 50 degrees. Tomorrow, it's wonderful. Sunshine, a high temperature reaching 78. Tomorrow night, we will spring forward, so you turn the clocks ahead 1 hour. On Sunday, not so nice. A 50% chance of showers, especially early. Much cooler with a high of just 58. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
At Palmetto State Armory, we offer the largest selection of guns and ammunition at unbeatable prices. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff are here to provide personalized assistance, ensuring you find exactly what you need. If you enjoy outdoor activities like hunting, camping, or hiking, our clothing and outdoor gear collection has got you covered. We also feature an exceptional indoor range facility where you can experience the thrill of shooting in a safe and controlled environment. Visit us today at PalmettoStateArmory.com or your local retail store. Palmetto State Armory, American made for life.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting a court-appointed lawyer has advised a federal judge to let the Justice Department drop corruption charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams, but prevent prosecutors from ever reviving the case so it doesn't hang over him like a proverbial sword of Damocles. Paul Clement, a Solicitor General under President George W. Bush, made the recommendation in court papers Friday. Authorities have revealed that actor Gene Hackman died of heart disease and showed severe signs of Alzheimer's disease a full week after his wife died of hantavirus in their home. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Heather Jarrell said both deaths were ruled to be from natural causes. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 222 points. The Nasdaq rose 126. More details at srnnews.com.
Lots of plumbing companies out there. Few are truly local. Time to discover the difference with Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. See, when I faced plumbing woes at the Cohen home, Josh and his dedicated team, well, they were my go-to solution. They make a commitment to exceptional service. They arrived on time, clearly detailed all the costs and procedures, and efficiently handled all my repairs without any surprises. These days, how often do we complain about a lack of customer service out there? With Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, these folks are professional. They're courteous. They're skilled at what they do, and they've earned my trust, and they've earned my recommendation to you. From urgent repairs to the tankless water heater you've always wanted, they've got you covered. Visit franklinplumbing.sc.com or call 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Hey, you tell them Kev sent you from The Point. I'm pretty sure you'll want to thank me later.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
If you step onto H&J Cattle's farm, you'll find third-generation farmers upholding the legacy. They embrace sustainability and take immense pride in their craft, raising cattle purely on nature's offerings, without growth hormones, antibiotics, or animal byproducts. The result? Unmatched quality beef that's not just good, it's the best in South Carolina. Experience the distinct flavor of our finest registered Hereford and Wagyu beef. Visit us online at hdjcattle.com or on Instagram and Facebook at H&J Cattle.
Hun, did you see the power bill? I feel like we're trying to cool the outside with these old original windows from the house.
Yeah, they are old. They let the cool air out and the hot air in, plus they're really ugly. I think it's time we finally get those new windows.
I think we need to call Redbird Windows and Doors.
Oh yeah, think of the Miller's house up the street.
I got their card when I was talking to the Millers. Here it is, Redbird Windows and Doors, 727-0561. Oh, and let's look at their website too, redbirdwindows.com.
Give me that number again, please.
727-0561.
Escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life with Spa MD, your sanctuary of rejuvenation. Feel the tension melt away as our expert team guides you through your customized wellness journey. From soothing massages to revitalizing treatments, we promise a remarkable experience that leaves you feeling renewed and empowered. Discover the calm within every visit. Reach out at 251-9400 or online at visitspamd.com to explore your options. Your oasis of tranquility awaits.
Tune in at 6, don't miss the vibe. South Carolina's pride, we're live. Sports Talk's the place to be. From the court to the field, we're breaking news free. Join the team, follow X for more. We're taking over, that's for sure.
We are back. Friday edition of Sports Talk Media Network. Phil Kornblut here at the Coast. The Plumber, Josh Cohen, at our studios in Columbia. Chris Bergen off again tonight, back with us on Monday. You heard from Matt Smith at the SEC Women's Tournament. High school basketball, Blythewood, Somerville. This is girls, 5A Division I. Blythewood is leading Somerville 29-23. 29-23 Blythewood, and they're right at halftime. Earlier, North Augusta beat Westside 50-37. 4A girls 50-37. North Augusta over Westside, and 4A boys Lancaster a winner over North Augusta 69-55. On the diamond, Clemson, bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, leading Davidson 5-4. 5-4. Clemson leading Davidson. East Carolina, after 8, shutting out Coastal Carolina. Shauna clears with 4 hits. East Carolina leading in Greenville 7-0. They go to the 9th. In Charleston, top of the 9th, College of Charleston trying to hold off Appalachian State. They scored a run bottom of the 7th to take a 5-4 lead. They're now in the top of the 9th. Cougars are leading Appalachian State 5-4. Catch up on other baseball involving state teams here in just a little bit. And with that being said, our new segment to take us through baseball season throughout the spring, into the summer, and who knows how long, we're going to touch them all on Friday nights with our good friend Rudy Jones. Greenville News. Oh, Rudy Jones. Rudy Jones. When I was a young guy, a little young pup in the business, Rudy was already a hardened sports writer for that great Greenville News sports page that covered the state, covered the upstate, but a particular passion for baseball. He's just a baseball guy, and that continues for him to this day. And Rudy, we welcome you to Sports Talk. We're excited about this segment with you. Love what you do with your website, your newsletter covering baseball in South Carolina. Great to have you with us.
Phil, thank you very much for asking me to be on. It's a pleasure to be on because you've been doing this for so long. Of course, you and Don started it, and I've continued it for a while. I know it takes a lot of work to do what you do, and I've gotten a better feel
for the efforts you have to make with me trying to keep this up to date, just on a daily basis.
Well, when you left the Greenville News, you decided that you weren't ready to put the pen and the pad down, and you turned to your passion, right? Baseball's kind of always been your thing.
It has. I've always been a fan, but I've never been any good at it. The only organized leagues I ever played in were like church league, which was very disorganized. And then one summer I got to play in some YMCA games, really in the death throes of Texas League baseball.
Yeah.
And on that level, I went a robust 1 for 12 for, so that was probably my career highlight. That may have been the only hit I ever got in an organized game. But I have just loved baseball from growing up listening to the games on the radio. When I was a kid, the White Sox would actually have their games on a station in Greenville, and you could listen to them every day.
Whoa.
And then once I got a little bit older, and you could pick up the 50,000 watt stations like WLW or WWL and WSB and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I've always been a fan. I kept the scorebook when I was a kid. My brother was so well, he didn't like it, the fact I had a radio going at night when we were in bed trying to go to sleep. So this was before transistor radios had earpieces. He was an electronic genius, and he soldered me in a place where I could have an earpiece to listen to the game without keeping him awake. And it just continued from there.
So he had the brains in the family.
Oh yes, he did.
Yeah.
He won the local science fair a couple of times, and actually won like a 3rd or 4th place international science fair. So he was way on up there, and I got all the sports fanisms, I guess.
There you go. Well, it's great to have you with us. And as you were talking, playing textile league baseball and even high school baseball has come so far. Yesterday I did the show from the Classic. You remember the IP Classic. It's now called the Classic. It's in Georgetown at Mike Johnson Park. I had Michael Johnson on with me last night for about 20 minutes, and he was awesome. But sitting in the stands, you've got these guys who cover baseball. They have X accounts. They have websites. And, I mean, they got the radar guns. They've got the computers. They're watching these kids at an early age and reporting on, this guy's got an 83-mile-an-hour fastball with movement and et cetera, et cetera. I guess that's all good. That's all good for publicizing high school baseball in South Carolina, and these guys will eventually become the college players.
Yeah, and one thing, too, and you've dealt with this in the media, too. I know as the parents will say, well, my little son is not going to get a college scholarship or he's not going to get a pro contract if you don't write more about him in the newspaper or talk about him on the talk show.
Yeah.
Believe me, if there's a good athlete out there, there's a scout or a coach is going to find him. They don't call them the scouts for baseball bird dogs for nothing. They go out and they beat the bushes and try to find those great players. One of the all-time great scouts, in fact, was Lon Joyce. He was from Spartanburg, and he was with the Dodgers for like about 30 years. He used to coach at Spartanburg Methodist.
Mm-hmm.
And he went all over the state and all over the area scouting players and, turning them into getting them turned into having a chance to be a pro player.
Well, let's turn our attention to the season. It's still relatively young because, some ACC teams are opening league play this weekend. Clemson is not. South Carolina has another week before they get to SEC play. So the conference games are right around the corner. Give us some of your thoughts on some of the teams around the state, some of your insight on some of the teams as we sit here in early March.
Well, one thing is going into today, all 10 Division I teams in the state are at 500 or better. And that's not something that's happened very often this late into the season. PC is 7-7. Everybody else has got a winning record. Mm-hmm. So it's showing you the coaches are doing a good job of getting the right players to help them out. Obviously the Clemson-Carolina series last weekend drew a lot of focus. And I think Clemson clearly showed they're the best team in the state right now. And, that may continue the whole season. The thing is, the South Carolina fans were down after being swept. But, you look at it, they were really in all 3 games until the late innings. And, the late innings are part of the game, I know. But, USC may say, we're terrible this year. And that's not necessarily the case. I think Clemson's very good. Coastal, very good team. They went up and lost a tough game to North Carolina on Tuesday night, with sack fly in the bottom of the 11th inning. And today they were shut out for 7 innings by East Carolina. And as good as Coastal is, that's just one of the great things about baseball. And why I love it is you've got to go out and play the game, no matter what the records say, no matter what the talent is. You've got to do it on the field. College of Charleston's having a good season. They did finish off Appalachian State to go to 8-4 today. USC Upstate and Troy. I think USC Upstate's going to have a decent team. Maybe not quite as good as they were last year, but they played Troy. Even Troy hit a couple of home runs in the ninth to win that one 11-9. And Winthrop, Mike McGuire moved from Upstate to Winthrop, went out and beat Oklahoma State, beat them 9-3 on Wednesday, and they played them a one-run game on the night before. So Winthrop is playing well. They did not play well against Clemson, or Clemson played very well, whichever way you want to look at it, beat them 20-7. But it's again, every game's another day to prove yourself, and most of the teams in the state are doing it. Citadel beat Northwestern today, on and on and on. Now, Wofford had a tough game against Kentucky. They got run ruled 12-2. Charleston Southern is leading Elon last time I looked. And the thing is, there's a lot of good teams on Division I level, but they're also on Division II, NAI, and junior college levels. Spartanburg Methodist was a great junior college program for years, and as you know, they've transitioned to a 4-year school, and they're now in NAI. But Florence Darlington Tech is it's kind of taking their place as the top team in the state in junior colleges, but some of the other schools are doing well. USC Union's off their best start ever, and on and on and on. I know I could talk for a while about teams in the state.
Well, we got a bunch, and we got a bunch of good ones, and you've touched on them. Before we let you go, let me get your thoughts on the transition at Coastal Carolina from Coach Gilmore, Hall of Fame coach. They elevated longtime assistant coach. They got off to a good start. They've taken a couple of bumps along the way here recently. It's going to happen in baseball. But what do you think of that transition with Gilly officially retiring down there?
I think it was a smooth transition. In fact, he had somebody on his staff he wanted to do it, to take over for him. And, the administration respected him and his opinion enough, and Coach Schnall enough, to say, yeah, that sounds pretty good. We'll go from there. And one thing that might blow your mind, Phil, is there were 6 new coaches among the state's Division I teams this year. So Eric Bakich is already third in seniority among Division I coaches in the state, and he's in his third year.
Amazing.
Coach Polak at PC, and then Chad down at College of Charleston. And everybody else is first or second year. J.J. Edwards is in his second year at Wofford. So there's a lot of new blood around. Well, Coach Maneri's not necessarily young blood, but he's new at USC.
Yeah.
But again, all the schools seem to be really intent on putting a good product on the field and doing whatever it takes. Now, Furman made the exception. I'm still upset at Furman for dropping baseball, but what can you do about that?
Cry about it like we do all the time. Do you hear any movement up there among alums, among the boosters, the money people, whatever, about trying to restart the baseball program there?
Yeah, I don't hear anything really solid, and I know there are fans out there say, I wish we had baseball back and those type of things. And, I think they said they're going to spend $43 million on renovating Timmons Arena. I think, I think it would have been nice if they'd have maybe narrowed the concourse by a little while and put $1 million or $2 million away for baseball. But,
good point.
They're making decisions they feel is best for them. I really thought, on a little side note, I thought they'd make a mistake by making that arena as small as they are for spending as much, because I think they want to grow the program. But anyway, that's not basketball; it's baseball. But yeah, that's. But baseball is just a great sport. I mean, it's just so enjoyable to watch. Even though major leagues have tried to ruin it with things like the tiebreaker run-inner and bigger bases, et cetera, et cetera. And baseball is succeeding in spite of some of its owners.
What do you think of the SEC? What they started, I think it was last year. It started with the base, the outside base at first base, the outside bag, different color, And, I don't know if any other leagues have adopted that idea. I mean, it's a safety thing, right? You're okay with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's taken some of the players a little bit of time to do it, to get used to it. I saw an episode, I can't remember who it was now, he's watching, and the kid overran the base, and he came back and tagged the safe base, the one that's in the foul territory.
Yeah.
But once you pass first base, you've got to touch the regular base. So he touched the out of the foul base, and so they called him out for missing the base or for not doing the base. But I think once folks get used to it, it'll be okay. And I think if it helps prevent even one collision, it ends a guy's career. I think it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Before we let you go, tell everybody about your website, where to go to get your good stuff, and you're doing this every day. I think you're doing it 7 days a week. Every time I look, you got something updated. So where can people go?
The website is PalmettoStateBaseball.com. I wanted to come up with something that would signify South Carolina, but if I just said South Carolina baseball, people think it's the Gamecocks or whoever. But PalmettoStateBaseball.com is a free site, no subscriptions, no pop-ups, anything like that. And I provide updates on Palmetto Base on X. I do weekly rankings of the state's teams. I do a daily scoreboard with boxes when I can find the links to the boxes, and try to do features every now and then. I did a feature this week on Dominic Pianto, who is one of only 2 Furman baseball players still active in college baseball. So I did a little story on that. He's at Michigan State, and they were in town at Greenville. Gave me a chance to talk to him a little bit.
Yeah, I
and
saw
Stone Simmons.
Yeah.
Stone Simmons at Mississippi State is the only other Furman player still active, and he's one of the weekend starters, which I did not realize till Brett Harker, who's now at Limestone and was the Furman coach, told me.
One more little item. Today, Brian Hennessy, baseball SID at Clemson, is working his 1400th Clemson baseball game.
Brian is a great guy. Just so helpful. I mean, you and I knew Bob Bradley and Tom Price. The folks who are younger today, they all they hear is this an award named for somebody. It's just like you and me saying, well, who is John Heisman, basically? But Bob and Tom were just great for the game of baseball. They loved their schools. They loved baseball, and they were just so great to work with. Did anything they could to help enhance the coverage of college baseball. And I'm not saying I'm anywhere near their level, but I just want to try to do something similar to enhance the level of college baseball in South Carolina, or the level of appreciation for it.
Well, you're doing it, and we appreciate you being with us. Looking forward to this segment on Friday nights leading into games on Friday and into the weekend, so you can bring us up to date, and we can, as we get into league play, we can spotlight some of the top matchups around the state in a particular weekend. Rudy, enjoy the baseball. We'll talk to you next week.
Phil, thank you very much. Have a great night and have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's our buddy,
bye-bye.
Rudy Jones from up in Greenville. Man, that Greenville newspaper, that sports section, well, we had great. I mean, you had the Greenville News, of course, you had the State, you had the Post and Courier, you had the Anderson Independent Mail, you had the Spartanburg Herald Journal, you had the Augusta Chronicle across the river, you had the Sumter Daily Item. I don't mean to be leaving off anybody, but the Florence Morning News. Man, we had great newspapers in our state. I mean, you might had an argument with them about their editorial content sometimes, or maybe the price. It was so much better then than it is now. I just can't even begin to tell you when newspapers were at their height and they were competing with each other to cover stories, to break stories. You couldn't beat it. I mean, you just couldn't beat it. Greenville News had a sports staff of I don't know how many people. They would put out a sports page of 10, 12 pages. Same with the State. These other Post and Courier, they all had great columnists sharing opinions about things in the state. Local. That's what we lose when we lose newspapers. We lose that local approach and that local flavor. And we'll be right back.
When I grow up, I want to be a teacher. I want to be a dentist. I want to be an engineer.
Making dreams come true starts with making a plan. Future Scholar, South Carolina's 529 college savings plan, makes it easy to invest in a child's future education so they can chase any dream. You can start with any amount, contributions are tax-deductible, and earnings grow tax-free. Discover the smart, easy way to save for college today at futurescholar.com.
Imagine a scrapbook filled with all your favorite memories of 75 years at Darlington Raceway. Now imagine that scrapbook going 190 miles per hour.
Have you ever? No, I've never.
You don't have to imagine. You need to get to Darlington, where the drivers of today tackle the track too tough to tame, just like they did your first time. NASCAR Throwback Weekend at Darlington Raceway, April 5th and 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com. Discover South Carolina.
You're listening to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. We're back in a moment.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hosseller Brown. Did you know Lawyer Lisa offers a prevention plan add-on to our services? If you already have a trust or just need some updates, ask about getting your ducks in a row and getting all of your wishes set out before it's needed. Visit lawyerlisa.com for more information.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
Hey, South Carolina, get ready for the ultimate fishing event. Major League Fishing's Bass Pro Tour is coming to Lake Murray. Join fans of all ages at the Fishing Show, Watch Party, and Trophy Ceremony, Saturday and Sunday, March 8th and 9th at Dreer Island, both days starting at 1 o'clock. Meet the world's top anglers. Enjoy free food and win amazing prizes. Meet Paw Patrol, Sky, and Marshall. And the first 50 kids 14 and under get a free Abu Garcia rod and reel each day. It's all happening at Dreer Island State Park, March 8th and 9th. Get all the info at MajorLeagueFishing.com/attend.
One lottery ticket makes a big difference for our state students. And when I say big, I mean bigger than jackpot big. Since 2002, South Carolina students have benefited from more than $6 billion in lottery-funded scholarships and grants, including the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow Scholarships. With every lottery play, you're supporting our students, and that adds up in a big way. That's why education is our middle name. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Thanks again to Rudy Jones for being with us, touching them all on Sports Talk. Few things to tell you about. First of all, reminder, one final time, the Bass Pro Tour is at Lake Murray this weekend. This is the third stop of the 2025 Bass Pro Tour, and it's already underway. Activities are taking place. They're catching fish. 4-day tournament hosted by Capital City, Lake Murray Country Regional Tourism Board, showcasing pros competing for a top prize of $150,000. Tomorrow, a kids fishing derby, giveaways, and more, Saturday and Sunday from 3 to 6. If you need more details, go to their website, MajorLeagueFishing.com. MajorLeagueFishing.com. We close out our poll question of the week for this week. And our poll question of the week for this week brought to you by Larry Lucas Insurance out of Columbia. Call Larry at 803-799-1998 for all your insurance inquiries. So, final tabulation, 53.3% of those who voted believe that spring football games are a rite of spring. So, in other words, keep them around. 46.7% say it's time to let them go and do something else for spring practice. We'll have another interesting and exciting question for you next week. Dabo Sweeney talked to the media just a little while ago. We're going to bring you some of that after the top of the hour, so stay tuned for that. We may have to, I don't think there's any may to it, have to delay running our interview with Brandon Cisse, but it will hold. It's not going anywhere. Now, Chapel Fowler, who's done a terrific job writing inside stuff on the legal work by Clemson when they were suing the ACC, he's got another story about the post-settlement. And he said, as of this week, 4 outside law firms had already billed Clemson for a combined $2.04 million, average rate of $615 an hour. He said final cost per reports could fall in the $3 to $5 million range. So I wonder if that's it, a one invoice deal at $2.04 million, $615 an hour. So, Plummer, based on what we pay you compared to what those attorneys were making for Clemson at $615 an hour, how big is the gap between what you make and what they make? Would you call it a significant gap or a minor gap?
Large.
In other words, you're being paid a lot more. The gap between you and them is large. Is that what you're saying?
Opposite.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. $615 an hour. Hey, it's good work if you can get it. Update on Clemson and Davidson. They are going to the ninth. Clemson is leading 7-4. We'll update more baseball. And some Dabo Sweeney coming your way, plus recruiting. Don't go away. Be right back.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters reporting. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says the U.S. economy is in a good place, but there's still uncertainty.
At a U.S. Monetary Policy Forum in New York Friday, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said the overall economy is doing well.
Despite elevated levels of uncertainty, the U.S. economy continues to be in a good place. The labor market is solid, and inflation has moved closer to our 2% longer-run goal.
But Powell says the Fed's key interest rate is likely to remain unchanged in the coming months.
The new administration is in the process of implementing significant policy changes in 4 distinct areas: trade, immigration, fiscal policy, and regulation. It is the net effect of these policy changes that will matter for the economy and for the path of monetary policy.
I'm Donna Warder.
Political contributor Josh Kraushaar says the Trump administration may be on the wrong path if it hopes to negotiate a hostage deal with Hamas.
This is a president and an administration who likes to cut deals, but there's just no dealing with terrorists that are, you know, they want Israel's destruction. That's their goal.
Kraushaar says it would be a mistake to think of the terrorist organization as a legitimate partner in seeking peace.
No, usually in foreign policy, there's a dictator or a bad operator, and then there's your allies.
Yeah.
And it's standing by your allies and speaking out and being tough against the enemies. I mean, I think that's sort of the playbook that has always worked for American foreign policy.
Kraushaar was interviewed by the Salem Radio Network. Authorities revealed that actor Gene Hackman died of heart disease and showed severe signs of Alzheimer's disease a full week after his wife died of hantavirus in their home. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Heather Jarrell says both deaths were ruled to be from natural causes. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 222 points. More at townhall.com.
Let's face it, the world is uncertain these days, but there's something reassuring about holding on to what lasts, like the 2025 1-ounce Gold Eagle from the U.S. Mint, a symbol of American strength and an asset that stands the test of time. You can trust gold, and you can trust Global Coin. Call 888-800-1045 to secure this magnificent gold coin, graded in pristine MS-70 condition for the dealer cost of $2,999. Free shipping, no sales tax. This is your chance to own a piece of history while building a foundation of enduring value. And it gets even better. Global Coin is giving the first 100 callers a free MS-70 2025 Silver Eagle to complement your 1-ounce Gold Eagle. 2 iconic coins, a symbol of prosperity and a testament to the enduring value of gold and silver. Global Coin backs every purchase with a 30-day return policy, ensuring your peace of mind. Visit globalcoindeal.com or call 888-800-1045. No gimmicks, incredible coins at incredible prices. Again, that's 888-800-1045.
A lunar lander touches down on the moon, but not as intended.
The Athena by Intuitive Machines landed a spacecraft on the moon, but sideways. Launched last week, Athena missed its mark by more than 800 feet and ended up in a frigid crater.
We're shedding power as fast as we can to keep the vehicle in good health.
That's Tim Crane. He's the mission director and co-founder of Intuitive Machines. The spacecraft was communicating with controllers and generating solar power. But NASA and Intuitive Machines abruptly ended their live webcast, audio courtesy of Intuitive Machines and NASA. I'm Haya Panjwani.
Freedom Caucus members in the Wyoming House of Representatives are claiming victory after a legislative session in which most of their priorities got passed. Wyoming's the first state where a Freedom Caucus has taken control of a state house chamber. News and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We are cooling down tonight to a low of 50 degrees. Tomorrow, it's wonderful. Sunshine, a high temperature reaching 78. Tomorrow night, we will spring forward, so you turn the clocks ahead 1 hour. On Sunday, not so nice. A 50% chance of showers, especially early. Much cooler with a high of just 58. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
From the Bart Fireside Studio, the solution for keeping you warm this winter.
This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network, Friday night edition. And we got a bunch of stuff going on in just a moment. We're going to hear from Dabo Swinney. I have to make a producer note over the air. Don't like doing that, but something just happened, so I have to tell the plumber over the air. You want to use Dabo Swinney file that says 3-7. I just put it in the box, 3-7. It's fresh. It just came down, so we're having to kind of scramble here to get it cleaned up and ready for air. So we'll have that for you in just a moment. While we're getting that ready, update baseball, top of the ninth. Clemson is leading Davidson 7-4, 7-9-2 for the Tigers, 4-8-2 for the Wildcats. And Clemson scored 2 in the 6th and 1 in the 7th. Hang on one second. It's the one I just put in. It says Swinney 3-7. Just put it in. So you'll see it there.
Yeah, I have it. It's the wrong file type.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? There's 2 of them in there. There is one. We're going to do this over the air. We'll do it over the air. Do the one 3-7 that is a WAV file.
Yeah, I don't have that. One's not in the box.
Okay. I just put it in the box. Maybe it's loading slowly on your end. So give me just a moment. I'm going to see if I can fix it. In the meantime, Clemson up 7-4, and this is tough to do while I'm trying to do 2 different things. 7-4, top of the ninth. Davidson has a runner on first. All right, give me just a second here. We're going to get this thing fixed up so it can be heard. This Dabo Swinney. Give me just a second here. Hate doing this over the air, but it's the only way we can do it. Other baseball. South Carolina just getting underway with Morehead State at Founders Park. Weekend series for them. And looking for some other scores once the computer updates. So I'm putting This is terrible. This is terrible radio. I'm putting the new Dabo Swinney into the box. So let's see if we can get it and get it right this time. Let me know when it's ready because I'm dying here. College of Charleston beat Appalachian. We talked about that earlier, 5-4. The Cougars pick up the win there. So we're going to hear from Dabo Swinney in just a moment, as soon as we get it ready. And he's going to talk about, of course, another day on the practice field. And, of course, they have a big recruiting weekend coming up. We're going to get to that in our recruiting report in just a moment. A couple of other top stories of the day. This surprised me. Okay, this surprised me. The SEC did fine Ole Miss $500,000 for rushing the floor the other night. I thought the fact that they waited until after Tennessee left the floor that they would not be fined, but they were fined for violation of access to competition area policy. And also they got in trouble for fans throwing some stuff on the floor. But they're going to hit Ole Miss with a $500,000 fine. South Carolina State won last night, and that gets them a share of the MEAC regular season title. So what a great job Coach Martin has done there. Florida State's expected to hire former player and Sacramento Kings assistant coach Luke Lux as its new head coach, Loucks. Are we ready with Coach Swinney?
No, I still don't have it in the box, Phil, but I'm pulling it up on the YouTube, the SID page. So we should have it here in just a second.
I don't understand that. I don't understand that. I've put it in there like 4 times. Can you explain to me why we don't have it?
No clue. Not where we normally have it. I don't see it at all.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because I see it. I guess I just have better vision than you do. I don't know. All right, well, let me know when you've got it ready. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and hit the recruiting report because we got a lot of stuff to talk about. The recruiting report is brought to you by Seawells. And hope you got a chance to get over to Seawells during the week for the daily luncheon buffet. If not, you can get to it next week. And, of course, for the very best in the catering business, you want to give Seawells a call, 803-771-7385. Online at SeawellsCateringSC.com. Let Seawells help make your event a memorable experience. All right. Clemson kind of dominating the recruiting news right now because of the fact they're having a weekend. So they got a lot of recruits coming in on campus for the weekend. And they got a commitment today from an offensive tackle out of Ohio, committing to the Tigers while on campus, Adam Guthrie. He was in for a visit, still is. He's having a multi-day visit. And he picked Clemson over Ohio State and Penn State. So, obviously, a heavily recruited player. Gives Clemson 6 commitments in their 2026 class. And that's 2 on the offensive line that have committed for the 2026 class. So, I tell you, my computer is running so slow. I apologize. I'm trying to jump from point to point here. He's 6'6", 270 out of Washington Courthouse, Ohio. He also visited Clemson for a game last September. And offensive line coach Matt Luke made him a major target in recruiting for this class, and the Tigers got him today. Again, Penn State and Ohio State were the other ones going hard after him, and so they pick him up. All right, we're going to continue recruiting in a moment. We do have those comments from Dabo Swinney ready. I want to get a little bit of that out before we continue. Thank you, Plummer, for getting it together. Here we go, Dabo Swinney.
Gideon Davidson, what are your initial impressions?
I mean, as advertised, he's physically, impressive. I mean, just further along than I thought he would be coming in. I mean, he doesn't look like a high school kid. I mean, he looks like a kid that's been in college about 3 years. He's really thick, strong, explosive. He's north of 200. I mean, he just looks great physically, and just what you thought he'd be. Really smooth athlete and a lot of confidence, fast. So he's done a nice job picking things up well. Proud of him.
I think this time around last year, Cade told me this play was kind of a big question. Entering spring practice, I guess, going into his senior season, how do you kind of see him kind of improve from last spring practices to this spring practice? Yeah,
he wasn't a big question to me. He was just a guy in progress, just a guy in process of becoming a great player. Wasn't a big question. He just first-year starter that, like a lot of guys, did a lot of good stuff and some stuff he needed to improve on. But, I mean, he's just picking up where he left off. Very confident. The game has really slowed down for him. You saw that last year, and but that's what we forget. I mean, we're so quick to just condemn a young player that doesn't play like the senior version of himself, and it's just kind of comes with it, unfortunately. But I don't care how talented you are, there's a process that you have to go through to really develop in this game. And so he's just made the right stuff and picked up where he left off. He's an unbelievable leader. Again, he's made a lot of great plays all throughout camp. A lot of good chemistry with the receivers. This time last year we had some new people that were, we had some guys not out there in the spring, and then we had some guys that like TJ that wasn't going to get here till the summer. Some guys that weren't out in the spring from injury standpoint, and then you had some new people showing up that were trying to kind of get on the same page. And, they're just a lot further along from a chemistry standpoint. But Cade he's just a veteran guy, veteran leader, very confident, and, that can only come from being battle tested and having the type of experience that he's got from really good success, but also some failure as well.
That said, what's your expectation for Vizina in the spring?
Take another step. We thought he did that last year. We needed to see really a lot of improvement from him. Again, he was a kid that really bought into what we were asking him to do. He was only 17 coming in here, and we told him we weren't going to sign a quarterback in 24. He was going to be the 23-24 guy. We told him we wasn't going to get any reps in 23. We were going to redshirt him, because we kind of had our guys here. He didn't get many reps. But last year he got all the 2 reps. And really by the end of the year, especially the second half, when I started giving him all of our, kind of end of practice competitive work, I just really saw a jump in him. And, so we just got to continue to see that from him. And he's just a committed kid. He's really talented. We were really fortunate to get him. Highly recruited guy, and just bought into our plan. And so just proud of him. I mean, he's done a nice job. He's in a much better spot than he was this time last year going into his really getting first reps. Now he's gotten 2 reps all year, and in this spring we're giving him a lot of 1 reps. I think that's the next step for him. And so we getting Cade the work he needs, but really force feeding CV. And so far, so good.
All right, a little bit from Dabo Swinney after today's practice. He apologized for the problems we had trying to figure out exactly where the right audio was. But we got a little bit on there for you. We'll put it all up on our website, SportsTalkSC.com, after the show. We'll come back and finish up the recruiting. And then Jeff Owens will join us in the fast lane here on Sports Talk. They are out in Phoenix this weekend for the NASCAR Cup Series. That's coming up next here on Sports Talk. Don't go away.
Hi, this is Billy Downer from the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Are you looking for a safe place to shoot your rifle or handgun? Did you know that the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources operates 4 manned ranges across the state in Pickens County, Spartanburg County, Richland County, and Charleston County? For more information on our public ranges, visit dnr.sc.gov/shooting.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
Hey, South Carolina, get ready for the ultimate fishing event. Major League Fishing's Bass Pro Tour is coming to Lake Murray. Join fans of all ages at the Fishing Show, Watch Party, and Trophy Ceremony Saturday and Sunday, March 8th and 9th at Dreer Island, both days starting at 1 o'clock. Meet the world's top anglers. Enjoy free food and win amazing prizes. Meet Paw Patrol, Sky, and Marshall. And the first 50 kids 14 and under get a free Abu Garcia rod and reel each day. It's all happening at Dreer Island State Park, March 8th and 9th. Get all the info at MajorLeagueFishing.com/attend.
Bringing you the latest in sports across South Carolina and beyond. This is Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
You've put in the work for your education. The extra early, extra late, extra work. That's because you understand education opens doors to better pay, better opportunities, and a better you. Being educated about playing the lottery is no different. It helps you be a better player, one who knows when to play and when to take a rain check. The lottery's a game, so let's keep it fun. Learn more at sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
Hey, George Bryant here with Tsunami Bar Sports. Let me tell you about something new we have going on. So now we can build your own golf studio in the comfort of your own home. That's right. We can come right into the Frog, to the room over the garage, to a dedicated space, and put your simulator in where you can play Pebble Beach, Harbor Town, and anywhere in between. True Golf is our partner, and we have some cool technology. TsunamiBarSports.com. Go check it out. Again, that's TsunamiBarSports.com. And let us put your favorite golf course in the room over the garage.
All right, Jeff Owens in just a moment. Get back to the recruiting. As I was saying before we went to Dabo Swinney, Clemson a commitment, offensive tackle Adam Guthrie, 6'6", 270. Washington Courthouse, Ohio, picks Clemson over Ohio State and Penn State, gives the Tigers 6 commitments in the class, second offensive line. Now, the Tigers have a junior day tomorrow. They're going to have over 30 recruits in. One of those is offensive tackle Carter Scruggs, 6'6", 290, out of Leesburg, Virginia. This is his first spring trip. He's got Michigan March 29th, Virginia Tech April 1st, Georgia April 3rd, Penn State April 8th, and Oklahoma April 10th. He also has official visits lined up with Clemson the first weekend of June, then Michigan June 8th, Penn State June 13th, and Georgia June 20th. So Clemson heavily involved there as well, but he's going to apparently take some of his visits, take a look around, then go from there. Of course, news came out yesterday that offensive tackle Zion Giles of Carvers Bay is going to announce on the 21st of this month. Spoke with him last night. He said he still plans to take his official visits in June, even with his commitment status, though if he picks Clemson, he'll learn that Dabo Swinney doesn't allow that for his committed guys. He has Clemson scheduled for an official May 30th, USC June 6th, Florida June 13th, Georgia June 20th, and Tennessee on June 27th. And he plans to have an announcement at his school on the 21st when he makes that announcement. And no favorite among those schools at this particular time. Defensive tackle Cameron Cody of Savannah will be one of the players at Clemson tomorrow, along with running back Ryan Campbell of Ashley Ridge. Defensive tackle Daverin Geralds, 6'3", 265 of Sewanee, Georgia, also plans to be at the Clemson Junior Day tomorrow. 2027 quarterback Trent Seaborn of Alabaster, Alabama, was at Clemson today, along with his teammate, 2027 defensive end Cameron Pritchett. Clemson target defensive end Dre Quinn added official visits to Notre Dame June 3rd and Georgia Tech June 11th and Mississippi State June 18th. He already had visits with Clemson, Georgia, Southern Cal, and Tennessee. Clemson Thursday offered offensive tackle Dalton Toothman, 6'5", 300, out of Van Cleve, Mississippi. He was in for a visit on Wednesday. Clinton offensive tackle Trey Aiken will visit Georgia Tech tomorrow, Florida March 16th, Virginia Tech March 22nd, South Carolina March 29th, and NC State April the 4th. He's got officials set with Tech, NC State, Virginia Tech, and South Carolina. Clemson and USC target wide receiver Gordon Sellers of Charlotte plans to visit Ohio State March 17th for a spring practice. Samari Matthews, who's going to be visiting Clemson tomorrow, the cornerback out of Cornelius, North Carolina, also set an unofficial to Florida State for March 22nd. And he's also a South Carolina target. And Clemson target cornerback Aiden Pouncey plans to visit North Carolina this weekend. Okay, there you go with recruiting. We've got a list, unofficial, of prospects scheduled to be in at Clemson tomorrow over the weekend. It's on our website in our recruiting story with Carter Scruggs. It's on our website, SportsTalkSC.com. All right, Jeff Owens is standing by. We're going to bypass the music because we want to get right to Jeff. We're running a couple of minutes behind, so we go in the fast lane without the music. Welcome in, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, Phil. I don't know what to do without my music, man.
I know. I feel kind of naked, but we will proceed. We will proceed nonetheless. We're headed out to Phoenix here the fourth weekend of the season. What do you expect to see out there on that track?
I think we'll see some good racing. First of all, we kind of get back to normal racing, right? We've had 2 restrictor plates and then a road course, so now we get back to traditional oval racing, and I think the fans are probably looking forward to that, even though it's been 3 pretty good weeks. But good racing at Phoenix. I mean, this is the track they have the championship race at, and they do that for a reason. I mean, it's always good racing. It's a big, wide track where they can fan out. You'll see them go 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide through the turns because it's so wide. And you'll see guys dive down off the apron to get a little extra leverage there. Good track, good racing, and it's an important race because you can bet every one of these teams, every one of these top teams are going to be not only racing to win this race this weekend, they're going to be gathering data for the playoffs should they make that championship 4. So your top teams, this race serves 2 purposes. I mean, you want to win it, you want to score points, but you also want to set yourself up for that final weekend of the year if you can get there.
This week, the National Motorsports Appeals Panel overturned the penalty against Joe Gibbs Racing's number 19 team stemming from Daytona. That's Chase Briscoe. They had fined the team $100,000. They had deducted 100 owners' points, 100 drivers' points, and 10 playoff points. So I guess he gets all that back now, huh?
Yeah. He, in fact, he climbed from last to 14th in points. So huge day for him. Really glad to see this happen. Apparently, I mean, you never know. I mean, NASCAR's right more often than not on these technical issues, but it sounds like this was an honest mistake. You know, there's some holes you have to drill into the spoiler for that race when you're attaching the spoiler, I guess, and something happened there where the holes were too big or something. But they concluded, the appeals panel concluded that whatever they did was, you know, kind of unavoidable and more of a parts situation than something they did to try to cheat. So So hopefully, they got this right, and this is huge for a guy who, Chase Briscoe is his first year at Joe Gibbs Racing. He's a guy that replaced Martin Truex Jr., and he's a playoff contender. I mean, this is a guy who can win races, and I expect him to do well. And he'd gotten off to a decent start, and then he gets popped with that. So good to see them win this appeal and get those points back, and he's back on track and back in the hunt again.
All right, but then to this week, Austin Cindric, who was just in Columbia, we got a chance to meet him on Tuesday. Seems like a very nice, mild-mannered guy. He gets hit with a penalty for what happened at COTA. He loses 50 points. He's fined $50,000. And two of his pit crew members, not his, I'm sorry, the number 5 team, they're hit with a suspension because they lost a wheel during the race. But what about that deal with Cindric?
Yeah, well, a lot of people on social media and throughout NASCAR thinks he got off easy here because the last time this happened, he was penalized for hooking Ty Dillon, and spinning him out. And so NASCAR ruled that he did it blatantly. And the last time they did this, they suspended the guy. I can't even remember who the driver was right now, but it was just last year, a year before. It was Austin Dillon. You remember he wrecked Joey Logano on purpose at Richmond to get in the playoffs, and NASCAR suspended him and knocked him out of the playoffs. This was a similar incident. So a lot of people thought Cindric might get suspended for this, and he got off. NASCAR said it was a different deal, road course, not as dangerous, that sort of thing. So he got off easy, so good week for him, too.
Consistently inconsistent.
There you go. That's NASCAR to a T right there.
Thank you, my friend. You have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Thank you. Jeff Owens in the fast lane. We got George Bryan coming up.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
Here's your weekend forecast. We are cooling down tonight to a low of 50 degrees. Tomorrow, it's wonderful. Sunshine, a high temperature reaching 78. Tomorrow night, we will spring forward, so you turn the clocks ahead 1 hour. On Sunday, not so nice. A 50% chance of showers, especially early. Much cooler with a high of just 58. Have a great weekend. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Paul Grant here, Columbia's Secret for Weight Loss. Here to talk about how we can help you lose up to a pound a day naturally. Unlike those other companies that use chemicals, drugs, dangerous hormones, pills, and things like this, we don't do that here. We help you lose weight naturally. Learn how you can do that. It's real simple. Call our office, 803-992-1912, or visit our website, ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com. That's ColumbiaSecretForWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters reporting former central banker Mark Carney looks set to become Canada's next prime minister after the governing Liberals announce a replacement for Justin Trudeau on Sunday. President Trump's threats to impose sweeping tariffs have sparked a surge in Canadian nationalism that has dramatically revived the Liberal Party's chances in a general election that's expected within days or weeks. Authorities have revealed that actor Gene Hackman died of heart disease and showed severe signs of Alzheimer's disease a full week after his wife died of hantavirus in their home. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Heather Gerald said both deaths were ruled to be from natural causes. Hackman's death was tied to heart disease, with Alzheimer's disease contributing. Authorities link Betsy Arakawa's death to hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. This is SRN News.
Step into a brighter future with Broker Solar. Transform your home, your business, your nonprofit into a beacon of efficiency and savings. With Broker Solar, you're not just installing solar panels, you're setting the foundation for long-term financial savings, taking control over these power companies that, well, let's face it, they have a monopoly. You can't choose your power company, but you can control the cost of your power. Ken and his expert team will help you to navigate through any complexities of solar energy. They'll tailor a system that's perfectly fit for your needs and for your budget. Get a rooftop setup or somewhere else on your land, or just start with solar to integrate powerful battery backups so when the storms do come, the power goes out in your block, it'll stay on at your home. It's not for everyone, but if you're even curious, don't you owe it to yourself to reach out and call Broker Solar for a free consultation? Listen, if you trust the point, if you trust me, I'm telling you, you can trust Broker Solar. Explore your solar potential at brokersolar.com. Start generating power on your terms. Broker Solar, empowering you while shining above the rest.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
Want to hear my success story? I'm Fran Halloran, the money coach. I'm celebrating a decade of partnering with The Point. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I've used The Point to significantly grow my small business. It started with a meeting with Kevin Cohen. Do you own a small business? Are you on a limited budget? No problem. Reach out to Kev at 563-8558. Get a customized plan and start your journey to business growth with The Point today. Success is one call away. Take the leap.
When your pipes panic, Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning steps right in, fast and friendly. Josh and his team aren't just fixing leaks, they're restoring your peace of mind. This is when you're at your most vulnerable. You got a problem, you need a solution. They're not coming out to upsell you or talk you into something new this or new that. You'll appreciate their process. They'll tell you what needs to get done and what it'll cost before they ever even bring in their tools to start the work. They're locally owned, which unfortunately is no longer the norm in the Midlands. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning will treat every home like their own. They've done work for me, for my brother, countless numbers of Point listeners. Dial 799-2222 or visit franklinplumbing.sc.com and you tell them Kev from The Point sent you. You will experience plumbing that's more than just a fix. It's a solution from people who care about their work and stand by it. When you need them, please don't panic. Just call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, 799-2222.
4! Straight down the middle. It went straight down the middle. Then it started to hook just a wee, wee bit. And that's when my caddy lost sight of it. That little white pellet has never been found to this day. But it went straight down the middle, like they say.
All right, welcome into another edition of Birdies, Bogeys, and Biceps. Brought to you by Tsunami Bar Sports in West Columbia. Good time to be talking golf, considering we just had a triple bogey, George, on the program. I like to believe when we do a show, it's full of eagles and birdies. Occasionally, we have a triple bogey, which means we had some issues with some audio or something like that. So coming off a triple bogey, it's time to get back to championship level play. We got a great show. Sully is standing by, Sullivan Hooper standing by to talk some college golf. We've got former South Carolina head coach Bill McDonald standing by as a special guest, George. But nobody is more special than you. Take it away.
Well, you're talking to a walking bogey to double bogey, at least in these late sets. So, and we're talking audio double to triple. That's just how it rolls. And I tell you, we got somebody, he is world class, and I can't wait to ask him, hey, what do you do when you just carted the snowman or worse? And I don't want to waste a lot of time. This is the fastest half hour for the week, and Bill McDonald is our guest tonight, very special guest. I love him and his family, and glad to have Sully a part of it. Phil, what do you say? Let's go ahead and tee it up. Let's do
on. It. Let's welcome in Coach McDonald. We'll get to the Arnold Palmer Invitational second round in just a little bit, but Coach McDonald's been traveling. He's been to Jacksonville. I think he might be in Jacksonville. He's got his son playing golf and following him. So it's great to have you with us, Coach. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me tonight.
It is a pleasure. Catch us up on what's been going on with you in the golf world since we last talked to you.
I've actually been really busy. Big George knows how it is when your blood is playing golf. You're going to figure out a way to go watch him play. So California last week, watching my son, and down in Jacksonville, they start the John Hay Collegiate tomorrow, and be kind of interesting for me. It's the place I coached. Carolina, we played there quite a few years in a row there, and then I actually won a college event at Sawgrass Country Club in 1984. So be nice to go back and but I've been really busy. Honestly, it's been a lot of fun running around, having the time to do things with my boys and do a lot of family stuff. So I've been doing great.
Super,
man. That's no surprise. And who we're listening to right now is one of the truly world-class experts from the playing perspective that I've ever met, and just have tremendous respect. He was the #1 junior in the country. As I'm a little older than Billy Mack, I call him affectionately Billy Mack, and he was #1 in the country as a junior player, All-American at Georgia Tech. And we get to hear the perspective of not just a great player, but also the father of a great player, who I did, when I heard how he played last week, I had to call him up, and it's such a pleasure to talk to Trace. Oh, my goodness. Bring us up to speed, Billy Mack. You're in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Trace is an interesting story. You know, he grew up in that era when we were winning all those baseball championships, and all of his buddies. He was a baseball player, and he got into golf late and got interested in the PGM program at Coastal, Professional Golf Management, and really wasn't even on a track at all to play college golf. He's super raw, but had a lot of speed and that kind of thing. And he was lucky enough to get an invited walk-on spot, and he's fallen in love with all levels of the game, Big George, which, you know, as a dad and somebody in the business as long as that's just, it's really cool to watch that develop as a dad. And I'm very careful about what I say to him. I'm turning him loose. I'm trying not to be that. It's funny. I made fun of all the wacky parents I had. And you were one of them that I had running around watching us play all those years. And now here I am, one of them, and right in there in the thick of it. So it's I guess it's justice for me.
Well, I had the privilege. It was so. About maybe a month ago now, he shows up at this group actually staying with Wesley, and it's a college golf fellowship. Unbelievable listening to his perspective on golf. It is innocent. It's absolutely where I think it needs to be to grow or keep growing fast. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. He didn't I think I saw him get started somewhere even after middle school. Is that accurate?
Yeah, he did. Both of my boys did your little Sunday winter thing there for a little bit, but then he was all about baseball.
That would have been very early on, and he kind of went. He paused a bit, then got into baseball.
Mm-hmm. And was all about Spring Valley baseball. and I watched a lot of bad baseball. I didn't think he would ever play golf, and his junior year he decided he at least wanted to do the high school thing, you know, and it's just an amazing game that way. It really is. I mean, he has a little bit of hand-eye coordination and has worked hard, and he's still really raw and innocent, as you say, and he's taking his licks as the game will do to you. So as a dad, I'm going to sit back, be proud, and watch it.
And he's got tremendous club speed to go along with. I think that innocence. Just when I say innocent, he hadn't played like a lot of the young'uns that you recruited. They're playing I'm looking on the SCJGA. They're playing 35 events a year. By the time they get to you, they've played 200-300 events sometimes. And Trace, I don't know if he's played a dozen events yet in college. Ish. And just listening, it's fun.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, his first state junior at Dawtall, I thought I was going to have to go to the parking lot and get more golf balls at the turn. I mean, he just has had, but he can still get a little bit wild with it. You know, what reminds me a little bit of Wesley off the tee sometime, or old Wesley, but he doesn't have the skills of Wesley to get out of the trees if we do find his ball. So we got to work on that.
No, I got to tell you, that's if you don't hit the ball well, that's one of the biggest misnomers. The advantage of not hitting it very good, especially off the tee, is, well, you got to play out of the woods. And Billy Mack, there's nobody that spent more time in the woods looking for Wesley's golf balls than you and I. And that's a fact. We talking knee deep, waist deep. It's been over our heads looking for his golf ball. And you know, that's when all of a sudden I can see the innocence in Trace. He sees that ball and he looks up and he's got a chance. And he won a playoff during this event at Salina back it might have been 6 weeks ago now. Watching him during the playoff, it was nothing like the fun that he was having over just a bunch of guys getting together with a stick and a ball. Stick and a ball.
That's right.
So a lot of times we get complicated, especially those who know enough about it to fix things. And I like Trace. He gets up, definitely doesn't take any time. And I believe strongly in that. In fact, I comment on these two things, Coach. You're one of the best. I'm actually thrilled to know you're out in I'll just call it, you're in the world now, and you can express yourself. I've always thought you're one of the best teachers, and from that perspective, coaches in the world. But you can only work on primarily with your teammates, which are your team members. That limits you to 10, 15 at the most per year you spend time with. Now you're out, you got a chance to share your knowledge with whoever you decide, and talk about, number one, like Trace's pace. It's quick, and you were fast coming along. But talk about overall pace of play, your ideas. That's one of the biggest topics in golf right now.
Well, I might seem counter to a lot of folks, but I think we make too big a deal out of it. I think we know the known offenders, and they're typically going to be slow. I was always big on, if you're going to be slow over the ball, you better be the fastest player. Walking to your ball, better be prepared. That kind of thing. I think it's a real shame that like aim point and some of the lockdown we've seen on the tour, the final few holes is I mean, you played in tour events, George. I have too. I mean, that's some of the fastest walking I've ever done. And also, I think to me in college, I was always about, are we finishing the rounds? I mean, we had a lot of those 36-hole days where you're finishing in the dark, and the rounds are averaging about 5.5 hours. I mean, it's a really tough subject. I think I lean toward leniency and toward the hole, and then also really trying to identify the known offenders and being really harsh on them. I think that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, well, I looked at this special cut, the special event. It's got a cut now. I mean, we might end up having 8 players in the final round of these special events. Maybe 4 if it gets that slow. We only got room for 4 today. But you know, it actually, I think it's kind of pathetic. You got got the greatest players out. You can't see but so much golf. So you want 40, 50,000 people out watching, and you cut the field down to 38 or 35 or whatever it is, 40 players, and you don't get to watch much.
No.
But Phil, good time for you to update. Now we got a tour, the Superstars, and then we have some of the rest of the tours. Fill us in, Phil, on what's going on in the super world of golf.
Okay. Great listening to you guys. So I'm waiting for my leaderboard to load up. It just did. So Shane Lowry, 2 good rounds for him. He's 8 under par. This is the Arnold Palmer Invitational, 67 for him. Wyndham Clark, who was the first-round leader, 71, slides into second. He's at 6 under. Corey Connors is 70. He's at 5 under, along with Colin Morikawa, who had a 68 today. Morikawa is tied with Russell Henley, who is Russell Henley is at -4 in 5th place, tied for 5th with Rory McIlroy and Jason Day. They are at 4 under. As far as some of our locals and some others, Scotty Scheffler is 1 under. Andrew Novak, 74-73. He's +3. Lucas Glover, 77-70. He's +3. And Jacob Bridgman, talk about him, guys. Runner-up last week. This week, 75-73. He's 4 over par. But coming off, I guess, a really highlight moment for him last week down in Florida where he finished runner-up.
I can attest he's a fine young fella, and I've seen him out on the regular tour playing just unbelievable game. I didn't watch him in college. Billy Mack, you're probably much more familiar with him than I am.
Yeah, I actually played for his dad, Chuck Winstead at LSU, and Trace. He's just a grinder and just keeps getting better. He's really solid fundamentally, got good speed, and he's one of those typical strong young bucks coming out of college golf that is pretty dangerous right now. He's on a heater and has been for a while. Just keeps climbing up the leaderboards and playing well. It's Chuck. I thought Chuck did a great job with him in college. Coaching your son had to be a difficult thing, and that was he was impressive with Trey.
Wait a second now. What about Jacob Bridgman? Did you watch him much?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Jacob, as a lot of kids are in South Carolina. I mean, he was a Clemson kid early on, and we tried to recruit him for sure. Very talented, and watched him play a lot. I mean, no real obvious holes in his game. He's really solid in all phases, and a great kid.
All right, while we're talking about great kids, George, let me segue over to Sully. Sullivan Hooper, member of the Newberry College golf team and a member of the Sports Talk golf team. He would, in a foursome of ours, George, of course, I would be number 1. You'd probably play number 2. Sully would play number 3. And I'd be number 1 only because I'd be, driving us to the course. But Sully's been keeping an eye on the college golf scene around the state since last week. Sully, welcome in. One thing I want to talk about too, maybe you're going to talk about it. The South Carolina women lost in a playoff to LSU, guys. You're probably aware of this. At the Darius Rutger Invitational at Long Cove at Hilton Head, and the playoff was they took the best non-counting scores and used that for the playoff. So, Sully, if you want to add something to that, or maybe Coach will jump in. Sully, you go first.
Yeah, I was just talking to buddies about this because I was looking it up, and I thought they won the golf tournament. Then I realized they lost in a tiebreaker. I thought it was kind of odd. Bill probably knows more about this. I'm just trying to figure out, when do they do tiebreakers and when do they go to like an actual playoff? And George, Bill, if you got anything on that, I'd like to know what y'all have to say.
Sully, a lot of times it depends on maybe travel schedules, what they determine before the tournament. It's usually the rules committee is going to establish what they would do in the case of a playoff. I've been in situations where we decided to play off. We did it at the Hootie a couple years ago. We had three or four teams, I think 4 teams in a playoff. and everybody had driven, so we just played till dark. But sometimes it's for flight situations, and that is an unusual way to finish a tournament, but not that far out of the realm for college golf.
Let me say one thing. Let me interject one thing, guys, and Coach, you can address this. So I was trying to rationalize, why they use the non-counting scores for breaking the tie. Is that a way of telling your golfers every score could count? Play every hole to your best ability, get the best score possible, because we might have to count that in a tie-breaking situation. Is that the thought process?
Yes, it is that, and then it's also used as a tiebreaker for pairings in the NCAA championship season, both starting at conference, going all the way through regionals and NCAA. So that's the non-counting score is used as a tiebreaker for a lot of. We used it in the SEC for our match play pairings and things like that. Sometimes you just don't have time to. George has seen some of these things where you go out and you play. Basically, you play 2 fivesomes in a college playoff, and then you take because you got 10 players, and you can imagine how long this takes. So it's not sending. It's not like we see on TV where you're sending 2 guys to 18 and everybody go grab another beer. They're coming back right back at you. It's more like herding cats.
Hey, since we're on the college topic, and Billy Mack, we have shared a little bit in the past, but go ahead and comment on how do you like to match play at tournament time versus stroke play in college golf?
We were told in 2008 at the U.S. Junior by the Golf Channel and the NCAA Golf Committee I was on a board back then to come up with a format that was better for TV. So we initiated the match play 2009 in Inverness, and I think it's been really good for the sport. It's easier to follow. I'm a bit of a traditionalist in that I like a 2-day cut and a 72-hole golf tournament. But also I get the putting our product on TV. It's difficult enough for the average fan to follow, but if we're playing Auburn or whatever, it's a much more of a TV-friendly format for sure.
Hey, well, this question, though, next one might be more complex. Why are the regular season events, why they're not more match play regular season events?
I pushed for that like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I talked about the SEC going to match play. I always go back to already like 2012, 13, those years. The issue is the 24 days of competition that you're allowed to have. So you're going to schedule, mostly 2 and 3 day events of that. You're going to burn a day of competition with match play, and at best you can get 2 matches in 36 holes. But we just never. That's a great point, because, and I brought that up all the time. Here we are finishing off our championship segment of the season, both conference and at nationals, and we don't get a lot of that experience during the year. So that was the impetus behind the 3 years of the SEC match play format we did in the fall. So that was even that was very difficult to navigate with 14 teams and things like that. So a lot of nuance to it, and I'm not so sure the people in Indianapolis or our board really cares about trying to ask for more play-in days. Doesn't ever seem to go anywhere. Hey, we want to play more.
Yeah. Hey guys, before we say goodbye, if I may, we got about 2-3 minutes. Sully's still on the line there. Sully, anything else you want to add to us real quick here on college golf around the state this week?
Yeah, I would just like to mention, Anderson Women's Golf, they remain number 1 in the country, but they had 2 players nominated for the Arnold Palmer Cup. It's a pretty big nomination. It's Kennedy Gooding, and I think the other girl's name is Kennedy McGahee. It's basically the best golfers in America and international. And Mr. Bill, do you know much about this Arnold Palmer Cup? I kind of recently just heard about it, but I know it's a big event, and it's a big honor for these Anderson girls.
Yeah, I was on the board for the Palmer Cup for several years. It's a great event. Division 1, 2, and 3 represented. It was an honor to be a part of that tournament. It's the atmosphere is really cool, and it's the kids really get into it. And kudos to them for their great play. Good luck to you at Newberry. Please tell Howard Vroom I said hello.
Yes, sir, I will.
Anything else, Sully?
Yeah, I'll give you a little update. South Carolina did drop to 14th. They're playing, I believe, tomorrow or this weekend at Sawgrass Country Club. Clemson's 45th in the country. They're playing at the Hackler, which is hosted by Coastal. Furman, 55th in the country. They're also playing in Coastal's event. Clemson's still kind of struggling. They're 71st in the country. Their next event, which is a great one, it's at Palmetto Golf Club, hosted by USC Aiken. And then in Division 2, we just had a tournament at the Patriot in Grand Harbor, and I got some scores for you there. USC Aiken finished 3rd at 6 under, Lander 5th at 9 over, Erskine in 10th place, and then we got Anderson at 13th, Limestone at 17th, and Newberry at 18th. And that's pretty much all I got for you so far this week for college golf.
Great job, Sully. George, Coach McDonald, thank you for being with us. And, George, I'll let you say goodbye and wrap it up.
Hey, Coach, I'm so glad you're there with Tracy. I'll go out and have some fun. I know you will. And, hey, I look forward to having you on. We got to get you back on soon just to get updated with what you're involved in. There's that music, Billy Mack, that says we got only about 10 seconds. So
thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
We appreciate it. And we will appreciate also Tsunami Bar Sports being a sponsor of this segment. Sully, Phil, what a privilege. Tee 'em high, but shoot 'em low. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, George. Same to you. Morehead State leading South Carolina 4-2. Thank you, Plummer. Have a great weekend, everybody.